state of the industry, it's pretty scary. It looks like new unit sales fell off a cliff September 1. What are you seeing at the auction level, and what is our macroeconomic perspective of where Powersports is right now?
Well, Robin, the market has been so strong the last 2 years with COVID, both at retail and at wholesale, that I think people have kind of gotten used to it. We knew the day would come when that wouldn't last, and I think that day has come. It's now. Using the auction as a proxy for what's happening out there, pricing has definitely fallen off significantly over the last several months, starting probably about July. It continues to slide, and dealer expectations, I think, aren't quite keeping up with that yet. So it has affected our conversion rate, another thing that we measure at auction. And I think it does tie to the macro level market because people are uncertain about what's happening. Fortunately, new supply is improving. Sales have been not what they were last year, but not horrible. Definitely slowing down at this point in time with both seasonality and some of the macro headwinds. But there's just a lot of doubt and uncertainty out there right now. And I think dealers have quite a bit of inventory on hand, and they don't need more.
Are we in a recession or not in a recession?
Great question. I'm not an economist, but I do have an opinion, so I'll be happy to share that. My opinion is that we're not in a recession now. And the reason I say that is that there's a number of factors that go into that determination. GDP is a measure that people look at frequently, and we had a couple of quarters of negative GDP. The only reason that it was negative on a real basis was because of inflation. So inflation is really the problem. If it wasn't for inflation, we wouldn't be having this conversation about is there one? But if we take a look at what's happening in the credit markets, take a look at what's happening with unemployment, particularly. That's a big one that I always keep an eye on. Things are great. Profits are doing fine at a corporate level. So a lot of doubt and uncertainty, a lot of fear, and I think we will have one in 23. I'm nearly 100% certain of that at this point in time, but it hasn't happened yet.
So what can a dealer do with their crystal ball as far as inventory levels, both new and used at this point?
Crystal balls are always a little cloudy. Some of them are cracked. It's hard to see what's going on. I think looking into 23 is really the key part of that. And every dealer is going to have a different opinion. And of course, their region and their product mix is going to have a lot of influence on that one. I think 23 is going to be an okay year, but not great. It will be down from 22 is my opinion. I don't think we're going to see the, call it free money or easy credit times of COVID. People will need to return to work. So time is going to be, valuable as well for other things besides recreation. But, I think motorcycles will still get sold. I don't think the credit market's going to freeze up like it did during the financial crisis and, 2008 through 2010. So we don't have that problem at this point in time. It'll just be a little bit more expensive with higher interest rates. And, people may or may not feel as confident and comfortable as they did before based upon their employment situation. So if I'm a dealer, do I need how much inventory? Do I need what I had last year? Do I need less? Do I need more? I would probably be thinking I need a little less than what I had last year. And that's all in, new and used. Dealers do have new supply coming in finally. It depends upon the product and the manufacturer. Some are still catching up, but generally speaking, it's not the problem we had a year ago or even the beginning of this year for supply. So I think that will be plentiful in 23 across almost all brands and categories. And used, there's almost unlimited supply, but I don't think dealers are going to need as much used in their showrooms as they had, because they're not going to need to make up for the lack of new unit inventory that they had before. And they're just, the retail swings are probably going to be at a reduced rate. The one advantage to pre-owned is that someone who doesn't have the money for a new bike or wants a particular model that's still hard to get, there's definitely a place for pre-owned in the space, but it's probably going to shift back to a balance more like what we saw pre-COVID. At volume levels, perhaps at slightly elevated above 2019, but not what we saw in 20 and 21.